Honourable members, B806 has been withdrawn. So I call upon the Honourable Second Member for Belrose and Carbone.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. B807.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, with your permission, I shall reply to this parliamentary question. I am informed by the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit of the Ministry of Land Transport that the stretch of road along Draper Avenue extending from Sir Virgil Naz Avenue to Belrose Avenue in the vicinity of Restaurant Venise is a two-way carriageway of width varying from 5 to 5.5 meters over an approximate length of 480 meters. It is predominantly characterized by continuous residential properties on both sides. I am further informed that the TMRSU received a petition dated 6 February 2026 from the residents of Draper Avenue, Belrose, requesting the installation of speed humps and speed breakers along this road, deploring serious concerns regarding excessive vehicular speeding and pedestrian safety. The TMRSU initially assessed the feasibility of installing raised speed tables along this stretch of road. However, pursuant to a site visit conducted on 21st of May 2026, recommendation has been made for the installation of 3 rubber-based road humps, together with appropriate traffic signage, due to the inadequate drainage system in the area. These traffic calming measures are intended to curb speeding and improve road safety for local residents, pedestrians, and other road users. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am advised that the Ministry of Land Transport has already initiated the procurement procedures for the acquisition of these rubber-based road humps, and that the TMRSU has been directed to prioritize and expedite the implementation of these safety measures as soon as the contract is awarded. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Au nom des résidents de Drapers Avenue et à la suite de leur pétition, je remercie le ministre pour sa réponse. Le ministre pourrait-il indiquer à la Chambre dans quel délai les résidents pourraient espérer l'installation des ralentisseurs surélevés?
I believe very soon, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as the procurement procedures have already been launched. It's a question of 1 or 2 months.
Okay, that's fine.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Vice-président. Would the Minister inform the House whether consultations will be held with the Municipal Council of Quatre-Bornes and local residents of Drapers prior to the installation of high-raised speed breakers? Thank you.
And the MPs.
Sorry?
And the MPs as well.
And the MPs as well. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed by the TMRSU that the engineer informed one of the local petitioners already. However, during the site visit, the latter could not come for the site visit. Concerning the Municipal Council of Quatre-Bornes, in fact, before the installation, we leave from the Municipal Council of Quatre-Bornes will be sought.
Thank you. The Honourable Second Member for Savannah and Black River.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, B808, please. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Bovalong Skateboard Park is managed by the Moses Sport Council. This park became operational in April 2024. The scope of work for the period was the construction of a changing room, bicycle motocross, and skateboard tracks. The total cost of the project amounted to 9,272,698 rupees and 50 cents, including VAT. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, regarding Part B of the question, I'm informed by the MSC has implemented the following key health and safety measures: the right use of protective equipment, including, but it's not limited to, a strap helmet, knee and elbow pads and wrist guard is mandatory. Should the users fail to wear the protective equipment, the management of the park reserves the right to restrict access to them. Participation in any activities at the park under the influence of alcohol or non-prescribed drugs is prohibited. Only one person can use the ramp at a time, and the use of motorized or electric equipment is strictly prohibited. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm also informed that since the inauguration of the park, the skating facility has been underutilized. Regarding Part C of the question, I'm further informed by the Moses Sport Council that the skating infrastructure has been showing visible signs of wear and tear since last year. Additionally, part of the metal barricading structures located in the upper park area leading to the skate zone have been damaged due to acts of vandalism. Thus, following the identification of potential safety hazard, the facility is presently considered unfit for use and has been temporarily closed. A comprehensive evaluation is being carried out by the new management at the MSC to determine the overall viability, and sustainability of the facility. Thus, at this stage, no repair works is envisaged. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as public safety is our sport facilities remain one of our primary concerns. Access to the skating park will remain closed pending the outcome of the ongoing assessment.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Can the Minister inform the House a brief on the construction of the changing room and BMX skateboard tracks? And what about procurement method applying thereof?
Bidders were invited on the 11th October 2022 through an open national bidding exercise advertised in local newspaper to submit their best offer for the above-mentioned project, with the deadline for submission on 7 November 2022. 3 bids were received, namely from RBL Contracting Limited, SMS Contracting Limited, Good Peace Company Limited. The contract was awarded to Good Peace Company Limited for the contract amounted 9,023,450, including the contingency sum of 900,000, but exclusive of that. Signature of the contract, letter of award issued to the bidder on the 27 December 2022, and signature of contract with the bidder was done on 28 February 2023. The starting and completion date, the starting date was on 14 March 2023, Works were completed on April 2024. The total cost of the project for the construction of changing room and BMX skateboard tracks amounted to 9,272,698.56, including VATs.
Honourable members, the Chair has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn: B835, B811, B850, B855, 845, 819, 854, 840, 822, and 838. Now I call upon the Honourable Third Member for Mayberg and Plunmagnon.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Sir, B809, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed by the District Council of Grand Port that Bois d'Oiseau Road, situated at Plunmagnon, is a secondary road of approximately 285 meters in length, serving around 40 households and falling under the administrative responsibility of the District Council of Grand Port. I am further informed that the Central Water Authority, that is the CWA, carried out pipe replacement works along that road between 30th March 2026 and 14 April 2026. Prior to the installation of the new pipeline, a length of approximately 280 meters was excavated along the road and thereafter temporarily reinstated pending completion of the final remedial and associated infrastructure works. The said works remain under a defect liability period extending up to December 2026. Following a site inspection conducted by officers of the District Council on 21st May 2026, it was observed that water had accumulated over a strength of approximately 35 meters, located about 45 meters from the junction of the main road. The preliminary assessment of the relevant technical officers indicates that this accumulation of water is likely due to the leakage from the CWA pipeline installed during the recent pipeline replacement works. The District Council immediately liaised with the Central Water Authority upon identification of the problem. I am informed that remedial measures were initiated by the Central Water Authority on 22nd May 2026 to address the leakage and alleviate the inconvenience being faced by residents, pedestrians, school children, and other road users. The situation is being jointly monitored by the District Council and the Central Water Authority, and any further corrective intervention deemed necessary will be carried out without delay. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am also informed that upon completion of the repair works by the Central Water Authority, patching and temporary reinstatement of the affected section of the road will be undertaken by the relevant authorities so as to improve accessibility and provide safer, smoother, and more convenient passage for residents and road users pending the implementation of permanent rehabilitation works. As regards longer-term infrastructure solution, discussion have been held with the National Development Unit regarding the implementation of a comprehensive project comprising both drainage work and full-width reinstatement of Bois d'Oiseau Road. I am informed that implementation of the project is subject to financial clearance and to the completion of related drainage connection works currently being undertaken along the 810 road by the Road Development Authority. Subject to these conditions being met, works are expected to commence in early 2027. I am further informed that the proposed drainage work along the Bois d'Oiseau Road are intended to complement the broader flood mitigation and drain upgrading project already being implemented in the wider Plunmagnon region, whereby contributing to a more sustainable and long-term solution to drainage issues in that area. With regard to road safety, I am informed that there are presently no pedestrian crossings or road markings along Bois d'Oiseau Road, and that no road traffic accident has officially been reported there to date. Nevertheless, the District Council is liaising with the Traffic Management and Road Safety Unit for a joint technical assessment to determine whether additional road safety measures, including appropriate road markings, pedestrian crossings, and other protective measures may be required. Any measures considered necessary will be implemented accordingly. I wish to also reassure the Honourable Member and the House that the relevant authorities remain fully committed and are working in close collaboration to provide both immediate relief and long-term solutions. The safety, welfare and well-being of the residents of all users of Bois-d'Oiseau remains a priority for this government. Thank you, Mr. Deputy.
Supplementary. The Honourable First Member for Waka-Floreal.
B810.
Who is answering this question?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I shall reply to parliamentary question B810. The Mauritius Society for Animal Welfare, commonly known as the MSO, is a statutory body operating under the aegis of the Ministry of Agro-Food Security, Blue Economy and Fisheries, and is responsible for animal welfare prevention of cruelty to animals and related operational programs. As regard to Part A, subsection 1 of the question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that on 30 April 2026, the chairperson and 2 members of the MSO Council resigned. One member serving in an ex officio capacity cited excessive load work due to his representation on several boards. The former chairperson and another member referred to governance and administrative concerns at the MSO. Following an inspection carried out at the Enforcement Department, the former chairperson submitted a report dated 28 April 2026, highlighting deficiencies in the record keeping, the absence of fully formalized standard operating procedures, weaknesses in the lodging and traceability of animal cruelty complaints, and shortcomings in operational records relating to dog registration, adoption, euthanasia, and catch-neuter release activities. Concerns were also raised regarding procurement procedures, overtime expenditure, and supervisory control. The director of the MSO was requested to provide explanations which were submitted on 6 May 2026. In his explanation, he referred, among others, to staff shortage, the absence of dedicated administrative and IT support, ongoing works to strengthen standard operating procedures and record-keeping system, and the need for a comprehensive operational review of the MSO. As regard to the request for tabling, I am advised that the document form part of an ongoing administrative examination and may also be relevant to a formal inquiry. It would be therefore not be appropriate to table internal reports, correspondence, and preliminary observation at this stage, as this could prejudice the process. Nevertheless, the substance of the matters raised is being fully communicated to the House today. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part A, subsection 2 of the question, I am informed that the Ministry has not established that pressure was exerted on the former chairperson regarding the renewal of the director's contract. I am further informed that the MSO Council, under the chairmanship of the former chairperson herself, had already approved the renewal of the contract on 23rd April 2026, prior to the alleged telephone conversation referred to in an email dated 29 April 2026. As regard whether the appointment and renewal were in order, Section 18, Part 1 of the Animal Welfare Act 2013 provides that the Council shall appoint a director with the approval of the Minister. In the present case, the appointment of Mr. Tina Garen Govindasamy as director was approved by the substantive Minister on 18 March 2025. Cabinet was informed accordingly on 4th April 2025, and the MSO Council formally approved the appointment on 29 April 2025. The one-year renewable contract took effect as from 20 May 2025, following the Council decision of 23 April 2026. The MSO formally requested ministerial approval for renewal of the contract for a further period of 1 year. Madam, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part B of the question, I wish to inform the House that a preliminary internal examination has already been initiated by the Ministry. Meetings and consultations were held by the Director, the Acting Procurement Officer, and the former representative of the Ministry of Finance on the Council. The primary finding indicates that there are administrative and governance weaknesses requiring corrective action, particularly in relation to record keeping, operational procedures, procurement controls, supervision system, and overtime management. However, certain allegations remain disputed and require further verification before any definitive conclusion can be reached. Accordingly, upon the designation of a new chairperson, the MSO Council will be requested to conduct a formal inquiry into all matters raised and to submit recommendations for corrective measures and institutional reform. The Ministry will closely monitor the implementation of improved governance, accountability, and operational system to ensure that the MSO effectively fulfill its statutory responsibilities. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to emphasize that the objective of the Ministry is neither to shade nor prejudge anyone, but to ensure that all matters are dealt with fairly, transparently, and in accordance with due process and principle of good governance. Thank you.
Honourable members, the table has been advised that PQ B844 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Tourism. PQ B846 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms. PQ A50 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Energy and Public Utilities. PQ B14 has been withdrawn. Now I call upon the Honourable Second Member for Flag-Bolakay.
B812, s'il vous plaît. First, I wish to thank the Honourable Member for this pertinent question. As I previously informed the House in my reply to a parliamentary question, B842, at the sitting of the 7th October 2025, according to the Ministry of Public Service and Administrative Reforms, there are around 110 persons with disabilities who are employed in the public sector. 110 persons. I'm ashamed of this figure. With regards to data for the private sector, I'm informed that the Ministry of Labour and Industrial Relations keeps no such record at its level. According to the Registry of Persons with Disabilities kept at the level of the Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Board, which is the parastatal body falling under the aegis of my ministry, there are only 527 persons with disabilities who are registered with the board, searching for employment or training. Only around 900 employers are registered with the board. With regard to part B of the question, I wish to add that the Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Act 1996 provides that all employers with a workforce of 35 or more must employ 3% of the staff from among persons with disabilities. The Act also requires the maintenance of registers of persons with disabilities as well as the register of employers, the establishment of a hearing committee to review non-compliance and the possibility of requiring non-compliant employers to be fined. Although the above-mentioned framework was made with good intention, it was a structural failure in terms of implementation. This was the first assessment I made when this government and me and the junior minister took office. No employer was ever fined or prosecuted for not being registered. No employer was taken to task when not complying to the 3% requirement. The law and its measures could not be implemented. I'm informed that the law and its measures could not be implemented due to various reasons, amongst them our lack of staff and associated resources. The number of trainings conducted over the years has systematically declined, while reporting and compliance mechanism have in turn remained weak. This is why I call it a structural failure, and this has been going on for 30 years. Madam Speaker, when taking office at the end of 2024, I had three options, three way forward to decide. First, try to apply the existing 1996 law, the Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Boards Act, which turned to be a structural failure. Two, the second option was to proclaim the April 2024 law, the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2024, voted by the previous regime. I opted not to pursue in this direction. Firstly, given that various NGOs and disability rights activists wanted amendments to be brought before this law is proclaimed. It's not yet proclaimed. Second, precisely the unproclaimed law merely transposes the loose enforcement structure of the previous law in terms of employment-related issues. The third option, which I chose, was to integrate the whole issue of employment and employability of persons with disabilities within the context of disability reform pursued by my ministry. First, the employability of persons with disability will be part of the new assessment panel on determining disability benefits. Two, the number of employments of persons with disabilities will be changed to be both more flexible as well as ensure social responsibility and caring of employers. Third, the law will encourage employers who meet their legal and social responsibility of caring by granting them support, whereas those who do not comply with disability employment, the disability employment section will have to pay a social responsibility contribution. Non-compliance will result in more effective enforcement structure and more penalties. The above will be included in the phase 2 of the reform, which will be implemented in 12 months after the start of the phase 1 of the disability reform. The disability reform phase 1 and 2 is presently, at this very moment, under consideration by the Ministry of Finance in the context of the coming budget. In parallel, the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2024 will be amended accordingly and proclaimed. I understand that we are at present in a transition period. That is, we had a law which dates back 30 years. We have another law which has been voted by this Assembly, not yet proclaimed, and new laws that will come out and reflect the reform that we intend to do. And so we are presently in a transition period. I do understand that we cannot have a vacuum, okay? So if the proclamation and amendments of the Protection and Promotion of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2024 will take too much time, then we'll have to take remedial action to ensure compliance, a minimum compliance with the present law. In this context, I intend to seek advice with the SLO to see what can be done under the existing law to prosecute and take action against employers, even though that the staff and the mechanism doesn't exist. And I must say that the caring responsibility towards our citizens with disability should be shared by all in a collective manner. No one should left anyone behind and unattended. Thus, we will collectively be fulfilling both our national commitments and international obligations under the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honorable
Mr. Deputy Speaker, it's outrageous that only 110 disabled, or rather I would say differently able citizens of Mauritius work in the civil service. However, the Honorable Minister there's a statutory obligation of employing 3% of the workforce beyond 35 employees, but it's also a statutory obligation that in the absence of such employment provided, be in the civil service or private organization, then in an absence of an exception provided by the Training and Employment of Disabled Persons Board, these organizations, be it private companies or the public sector or parastatal body, should pay an allowance, a financial contribution to the board for each employee they fail to employ. They would like to know whether there has been such contribution made, be it by the public sector or the private sector, for failing to employ differently able citizens of Mauritius.
Our answer is no, unfortunately, to the honourable member.
Yes, no, second.
Honourable Minister, I wish to bring to your attention that the law compels organizations, be it the civil service, parastatal or private bodies, to provide suitable employment that fits the abilities but also taps the capabilities of the differently abled citizens of this country. I would state this case where since 1 year I've been fighting to find an employment, a training for one of my constituents who is a deaf and mute person, but I face a situation where the management of the company,
Okay.
a state-owned company.
Can we have your question, please?
Yes, I should be able to express the
briefly.
problem to be able to ask the questions.
Briefly.
Comes forward with the argument that the criteria to recruit a mere attendant in the organization is a form free, whereas the person I was talking about who is a deaf and mute. Therefore, there is a mismatch in the criteria to recruit, whether they are normal citizens or citizens with different abilities. So how the minister is going to tackle this situation?
All the criteria will be redefined in the new amended legislation. But if you have a case concerning a state company, then just refer it to me. I will raise it with my colleague minister. Because I think besides legal obligation, all the ministry and the state-run company has an ethical and moral duty of respecting the minimum, the least minimum, I would say. Thank you, honourable member.
The Honourable First Member for
B813.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I shall reply to parliamentary question B813 regarding the 30th session of the Indian Ocean Tuna Commission, which was held from 11 to 15 May 2026 in the Maldives. Mauritius was duly represented at the session through a hybrid delegation comprising representatives of government and private sector. At the outset, I wish to clarify that the decision for virtual participation was a deliberate and principled one, following government's decision of 27 February 2026 to suspend bilateral relations with the Maldives after that country publicly objected to the United Kingdom-Mauritius agreement concerning the Sargasso archipelago. However, I must emphasize that the hybrid mode of participation is fully recognized under the IOTC rules of procedures and Resolution 25/01. Mauritius was not the only member state participating virtually, as several delegations similarly opted for remote participation during the session. I also wish to place on record that virtual participation of Mauritius did not in any way affect the effectiveness or substance of the Mauritian delegation's contribution. Mauritius participated fully in all negotiation, technical discussion, and decision-making processes and firmly defended its national, economic, and strategic interests throughout the proceedings. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part A of the question, the Mauritian delegation was led by Mrs. M.S. Kunjal, Director of Fisheries of the Ministry. The delegation further comprised representatives from the Prime Minister's Office, the Attorney General's Office, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade, and the private sector, namely Alba Fishing Limited, Prince Group, and IBL Seafood. The participation of both government institutions and major operators of the seafood industry reflected the importance attached by Mauritius to regional fisheries management, seafood export, employment creation, food security, and the blue economy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that 17 proposals, including amendments to existing conservation and management measures, were tabled and discussed during the session. The principal issues debated related mainly to interim catch limit for yellowfin tuna, allocation criteria for skipjack tuna, interim catch limits for swordfish, and sustainability and conservation measures within the Indian Ocean region. Following extensive negotiation and consultation among members states, 8 resolutions were formally adopted during the session. I am tabling same. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as regard to Part C of the question, I now come to the principal outcome and their implication for Mauritius. Firstly, concerning yellowfin tuna, Mauritius co-sponsored, together with Kenya and Tanzania, a proposal aimed at establishing interim catch limit consistent with the scientific advice of the IOTC Scientific Committee. Following deliberation and voting by member states, the proposal was adopted with 21 votes in favor, 4 abstentions, and one vote against. As a result, Mauritius secured an increase of its yellowfin tuna allocation from 10,490 tons to 10,990 tons for the year 2027, representing an additional allocation of 500 tons. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this increase is economically significant for Mauritius. I am informed that the existing quota of 10,490 tons for 2026 has already been substantially allocated among licensed industrial operators engaged in purse seine and long-line fishing activities. These activities sustain important economic sectors in Mauritius, including seafood processing, export-oriented activities, employment creation, logistics and port services, and value-added operation within the seafood hub. The increasing quota will therefore support additional economic activities and strengthen the contribution of the fisheries sector to the national economy and the blue economy. Secondly, regarding skipjack tuna, Resolution 25/3, adopted in 2025, had allocated Mauritius a quota of 13,908 tons, which will enter in force on 1st January 2028. During the present session, Mauritius submitted a proposal seeking a revision of allocation criteria applicable to small island developing states with a view to increasing the Mauritian allocation from 13,908 tons to 19,009 tons, representing an additional of 5,101 tons. The proposal was motivated by the need to better safeguard the economic interests in small island developing states, such as Mauritius, which remain heavily dependent on tuna fisheries, seafood processing, and export activities. Although consensus was not reached during this session, discussion was substantive and constructive. The proposal has accordingly been deferred to the 2027 session for further scientific and technical consultation. Mauritius will continue to engage actively with like-minded member states in support of a fairer and more equitable allocation framework that better reflects the realities and vulnerabilities of small island developing states. Thirdly, regarding swordfish, the proposal relating in interim catch limit was adopted in line with recommendation of the IOTC Scientific Committee. Mauritius, however, remained categorized as a small harvester based on its historical catch level of 194 tons recorded in 2024 and is therefore not subject to any specific swordfish catch limit for the year 2027 and 2028. I also wish to underline that Mauritius continues to comply with all conservation and management measures adopted by the IOTC and remain fully committed to sustainable fisheries management and responsible utilization of marine resources. In this regard, Mauritius achieved a compliance score of 87.3% for the year 2025 under the IOTC compliance framework, reflecting the country's sustained commitment to responsible fisheries governance, transparency, and international cooperation. I further wish to emphasize that the fisheries and seafood sector remain a major pillar of the Mauritian economy through employment generation, seafood processing, export, logistics, port activities, and other ancillary services associated with the blue economy. Government will therefore continue to engage actively within regional fisheries management bodies to safeguard the interests of Mauritius, secure fair and equitable treatment for small island developing states, and further strengthen the long-term sustainability and economic contribution of the fisheries and the blue economic sectors to the national economy. Thank you.
The Honourable Second Member for Savannah Black River. B815.
Yes, B15.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I shall reply to this parliamentary question. At the outset, I have to highlight that there is a significant regulatory and operational inconsistency regarding the use of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) propelled vehicles in Mauritius. While the National Land Transport Authority, NLTA, does not prohibit the conversion of petrol or diesel vehicles to LPG, there is currently no LPG dispensing stations across the island. The systemic gap has inadvertently given rise to the highly unsafe and illegal practice of decanting subsidized domestic gas cylinders to refuel vehicles. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to Part A of the question, I am informed by the NLTA and the Commissioner of Police that to date there have been no officially reported cases of an LPG-powered vehicle catching fire as a result of a road accident. However, the Ministry of Financial Services has informed that, as per information at its hand, there has been one case of an LPG-powered vehicle which caught fire on being involved in a road accident in the course of the past 2 years. I am further informed by the Mauritius Fire and Rescue Services that 11 LPG-powered vehicles have been involved in fire incidents for the period 2024 to date, irrespective of cause, as follows. In 2024, 2 incidents. In 2025, 7 incidents. And in 2026, up to 25th of May 26, 2 incidents. With regard to Part B of the question, I am advised there are currently 15,696 vehicles registered as operating with LPG propulsion systems. Any vehicle fitted with a gas propulsion system undergoes inspection at the authorized vehicles examination stations. They are strictly required to comply with the 6th schedule of the Road Traffic, Construction and Use of Vehicles, Regulation 2010, which mandates comprehensive technical and safety standards for gas containers, pipelines, valves, and pressure relief systems. Certificates of fitness are issued under compliance with the regulations. However, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I must clarify a critical caveat. Private cars under 7 years old fitted with LPG system are not legally bound to undergo annual fitness tests. Consequently, they may not be captured in the 15,696 figure as amendments to the registration book. Horsepower are only made when the owner formally notifies the NLTA. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, turning to Part C of a question, the NLTA maintains that the primary responsibility rests on vehicle owners to ensure their LPG systems remain leak-free and meticulously maintained in accordance with the law. To curb the abuse of subsidized fuel, the government has in place a strict legal framework. In fact, by virtue of the Consumer Protection Fixed Penalty Notice Regulations 2020, offenders are liable to the payment of fixed penalty of 10,000 rupees for misusing domestic LPG cylinders for commercial purposes, which includes illegal decanting. Furthermore, the Consumer Protection Use of Liquefied Petroleum Gas in Small Cylinders Regulation 2012 provide for penalties ranging from 10,000 rupees to 75,000 rupees for repeat offences, such as unauthorized storage or selling more than 4 cylinders at a time. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, despite the high volume of LPG-propelled vehicles on our roads, only 22 cases of illegal decanting have been formally reported to the Ministry of Commerce and Consumer Protection from November 2024 to date. These cases have been referred to the Mauritius Police Force for prosecutions. The Ministry of Commerce and Consumer Protection is concurrently also intensifying its field inspections, enforcement operations, and targeted awareness campaigns, particularly aimed at fuel retailers. Nevertheless, a clear anomaly remains. There is an urgent need for the Ministry of Land, Transport, and my substantive ministry to collaborate closely with all relevant stakeholders to resolve this operational gap swiftly and permanently. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Yaola.
In regards of the refilling of this car, can the Minister inform the House where there are the sites to refill?
In fact, there are no sites for refilling. All these are illegal.
The Honourable Third Member for Port Resource, Mount Island. Sorry, you have a question. Okay.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Ministre, vous avez dit qu'on a 15 610 véhicules équipés avec le kit. Il n'y a pas de station pour faire le refilling. Mais comment se fait-il, comment ils ont pu importer ce kit-là pour mettre dans leur voiture?
In fact, in the past, there were filling stations who were supplying LPG gas to cars. However, let's say 5 years back, the price of LPG gas has gone down in Mauritius to the tune of 190 rupees, and people stopped going to filling station. So they went through illegal supplying of LPG gas. This is what happened. And I have to say that my ministry is coming up with a smart card so that each person will have only 2 LPG gas per month. After that, they will have to pay the regular price, which will be the cost price of the LPG gas, which will be around 600 rupees.
The Honourable Third Member for Port Resource and Mount Island.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. B816.
Monsieur le Vice-président, le CEB m'informe que la situation actuelle est de soutenir le déploiement de 11 MW d'installations photovoltaïques solaires sur des bâtiments publics à Maurice et à Rodrigue. Ce projet est mis en œuvre dans le cadre du projet de Fonds vert pour le climat du Programme des Nations Unies pour le développement intitulé « Accélérer la transition vers une économie à faible émission de carbone en République de Maurice ». Dans le cadre de ce projet, le CEB sera chargé de l'acquisition, de la fourniture, de l'installation et de la mise en service des panneaux photovoltaïques sur les bâtiments publics désignés, notamment les établissements d'enseignement. Je parle ici des écoles. Le Fonds vert, Monsieur le Vice-président, pour le climat, octroie une subvention à la hauteur de 27% d'investissement initial pour l'installation des systèmes photovoltaïques. Les 73% restants seront financés par le ministère des Finances dans le cadre du budget national. Ainsi, sur un investissement initial total de 660 millions de roupies, le gouvernement injectera environ 480 millions de roupies dans l'initiative du projet du secteur public, les bâtiments publics, notamment l'installation des systèmes photovoltaïques sur les bâtiments. L'état actuel du déploiement des 11 MW de panneaux solaires photovoltaïques sur les bâtiments publics est le suivant. D'abord, l'évaluation technique de 175 bâtiments publics à Maurice pour déterminer l'état des toitures, les travaux de préparation pour l'installation des panneaux solaires en cours. L'achèvement des installations de 5 MW est prévu en septembre 2027, l'année prochaine. Deux, la lettre d'attribution, la lettre d'intention pour les installations photovoltaïques de 2 MW sur les bâtiments à Rodrigue devrait être émise d'ici juin de cette année-ci. Concernant les 4 MW d'installations solaires photovoltaïques restantes, l'appel d'offres a été lancé par le CPB et la date limite pour le dépôt des candidatures est fixée au 2 juin de cette année-ci. Ces installations de panneaux solaires de 4 MW sont destinées aux établissements d'enseignement public, encore une fois, les écoles, et leur mise en œuvre devrait être achevée d'ici 2027. Les installations photovoltaïques, comme demandé par l'honorable membre, combinées, les 11 MW, Monsieur le Vice-président, sur les bâtiments, produiront environ 16 500 000 unités d'électricité par an, ce qui équivaut aux besoins annuels en électricité pour 8 000 familles. Donc, ce projet de 11 MW va satisfaire du moins autour de 8 000 familles. En ce qui concerne mon ministère, j'ai demandé, Monsieur le Vice-président, à la CWA, à la WMA, de soumettre des projets d'installation des panneaux photovoltaïques sur leurs bâtiments, CWA et WMA. Dans leurs enceintes aussi, l'objectif principal est de réduire les coûts énergétiques liés au fonctionnement des stations de pompage et des stations d'épuration.
One question, yes.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister inform the House whether similar solar photovoltaic projects are being envisaged after this initial project with a view to reducing electricity costs and promoting renewable energy across government facilities?
Oui. Est-ce que ce projet va continuer, vous voulez dire? Oui, bien sûr, parce que dans les 175 projets mentionnés, Monsieur le Vice-président, il y a des projets, peut-être, quand on va faire les études techniques, se peut que ces toits ne vont pas pouvoir être équipés de panneaux. Donc, tous nos projets, depuis qu'on est arrivé au pouvoir, tous les projets, les schemes agrivoltaïques, greenfield, household, it's ongoing. Parce qu'il y a des projets qui vont rentrer. Par exemple, là, il y a le projet, c'est important, le projet de Stoughton et Care. C'est un projet de 60 MW, 30 de mémoire, 30 et 10, 70 MW, qui devrait être sur le réseau en septembre. Malheureusement, il y a des projets qui sont encore 9% d'achèvement. Ils ont fait que 9%. J'ai demandé d'écrire pour dire que si rien n'est fait en ce qui concerne ce projet de Stoughton et de Care, ils vont devoir sortir sur la liste parce qu'on ne peut pas attendre. Donc, tous les projets vont être, chaque année, il se sera ouvert et continuellement. Parce que nous sommes qu'à 17%. Nous voulons atteindre 60% en 2035. Donc, les projets vont rester ouverts, comme le household, comme agrivoltaïque, que ce soit greenfield, que ce soit le commercial, que ce soit pour les industriels. Donc, les projets vont rester ouverts et le CEB va entertain. Donc, ceux ou celles qui sont les premiers à arriver et pouvoir être sur le réseau vont être acceptés.
Thank you. Honourable Second Member for Vieux-Grand-Port-Rouville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. It's question B/817, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in regard to the question, I wish to inform the House that through the Government Programme 2025-2029, culture and the creative economy have been positioned as important drivers of national development, tourism and economic diversification. Measures announced include inter alia, the holding of the Assises des Arts de la Culture, the implementation of a heritage stewardship scheme to encourage public-private partnerships,
the modernization and revitalization of museums, heritage sites, and cultural infrastructure, the promotion of cultural tourism and locally made crafts, and the setting up of the National Arts Open Commission. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, government has already moved beyond policy announcement, and concrete actions have been initiated for the implementation of the above measures in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, with certain initiatives already completed and others currently at an advanced stage. I am pleased to inform the House that the Assises des Arts de la Culture has already been completed. The recommendations will feed into the preparation of the first comprehensive strategic plan for the arts and culture sector for the period 2026-2029 through the National Arts Open Commission currently being set up. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, concrete actions are also underway on other fronts. The Heritage Stewardship Scheme announced in the budget speech 2025-2029 is being finalized by the Economic Development Board and my ministry. The objective is to encourage greater private sector participation in the restoration, maintenance, management, and promotion of heritage assets, including historical buildings, museums, and cultural sites, while enhancing their tourism and economic potential. In parallel, under the cooperation agreement with the government of the French Republic, Business Mauritius, and civil society partners, a team from Expertise France is working on the public-private partnership model for selected national heritage sites. Necessary consultations and technical exercises are currently underway. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we are also working on the development of local economic development plans around major heritage sites so as to create greater economic opportunities for the local communities, artists, and cultural entrepreneurs. In parallel, my ministry is equally working with the Human Resource Development Council and tertiary institutions to mount specialized training programs for the creative sector. The objective is to bridge the gap between existing academic training and the practical realities on the ground, while better equipping artists, cultural entrepreneurs, and creative professionals with industry-relevant skills. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is important to underline that the present government inherited a sector which for many years lacked a coherent long-term vision and strategic direction. For nearly a decade prior to 2025, culture, heritage, and the creative economy were unfortunately not positioned as national economic priorities, despite their immense potential for tourism, employment creation, and national identity building. While certain initiatives were undertaken during that period, these were often fragmented and implemented without an integrated national strategy or measurable development objectives. Critical areas such as the modernization of museums, the structured development of heritage sites, and the valorization of local artisans did not receive the sustained attention they deserve.
You have been given that the Minister has stated that the Assises on the Art de la Culture has been earmarked in our government program. Can the Minister state whether a timeline as to when this will be implemented?
I've already replied that it is already completed, and now it will be sent to the National Open Art Commission.
The Honourable Third Member for Grand-Peuple-de-Dau.
B818, s'il vous plaît.
Mr. the Deputy Speaker, sir, as the leading government agency mandated to provide strong institutional support to promote trade and investments in Mauritius, the Economic Development Board, working collaboratively with my ministry and our diplomatic missions in Africa, has organized and participated in several trade missions in Africa since November 2025 to date. I am therefore informed that by the EDB that between November 2025 and April 2026, 4 major trade missions and roadshows were undertaken as follows. Firstly, Africa Tech in November 2025, where the EDB participated in the Africa Tech Festival 2025, which was held from the 11th to the 13th of November 2025 in Cape Town, South Africa. That event had enabled fruitful discussions with many stakeholders, including tech operators from the United States. I am informed that some US firms are already in an advanced stage of incorporating their activities in the tech sector in Mauritius. Secondly, multi-cluster roadshow in South Africa. A high-level delegation of 26 companies from Mauritius undertook a business prospection mission in Cape Town and Joburg from 26th to 30th of January 2026. This mission, which was supported by our High Commission in Pretoria, has already yielded 45 million Mauritian rupees in immediate orders, with a further 440 million Mauritian rupees worth of orders currently under negotiation. 20 investment leads were identified with potential investment and trade structures estimated at 10 million USD, focused inter alia in the mining sector, commodity trading, and free port services. In the margins of that roadshow, our High Commission in Pretoria has also established contacts with representatives of the First National Bank who manifested an interest in promoting Mauritius as preferred investment destination for their high-profile clients. Thirdly, joint education fair in Zambia and Zimbabwe in February 2026. So the EDB and the Ministry of Tertiary Education, Science and Research organized a joint education fair in February 2026 in Lusaka to create awareness about the educational opportunities available in Mauritius, particularly for students from Zambia and Zimbabwe. The education fair generated great interest on the part of students from those two countries and successfully registered some 409 on-the-spot applications for seats at Mauritian universities. Lastly, the ICT Roadshow in Namibia, Botswana, Zambia in March 2026. So an ICT Services Roadshow for Zambia, Botswana, and Namibia was organized by the EDB in March 2026 in Zambia, targeting ICT operators in those 3 countries. The aim was to promote business growth and export of services opportunities in the ICT sector and strengthen collaboration between Mauritius and the government, industry, startups, SMEs, and African partners in those countries. The roadshow successfully established high-level institutional links and paved the way for several memoranda of understanding with regional investment promotion agencies. Mr. the Deputy Speaker, sir, the government continues to monitor the outcomes of those trade missions to ensure that such commercial efforts translate into tangible economic growth for the sustainable diversifications of our exports. In addition to those specific trade missions pursued by the EDB, in collaboration with my ministry and other ministries, government is committed to broaden and diversify our investment space and encourage Mauritian businesses to integrate the regional supply chains in targeted sectors such as agro-processing, textiles, and ICT. My ministry follows closely the evolution of trade within the existing trade blocs. We participate in ongoing trade negotiations, address implementation challenges, including non-tariff barriers, and make proposals when necessary with a view to improving regional trade. In this regard, Mauritius is actively participating in the various meetings of the AU with a view to implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area. At the sub-regional level, Mauritius trade within the SADC and COMESA free trade areas and has followed an upward trajectory, reflecting the country's ability to effectively leverage the preferential trade access provided under those agreements. Thank you.
The Honourable First Member for Motai Blanche and Grand Rivière South, please.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Sir, B820.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the National Certificate of Education, NC, was introduced in 2018 under the 9-year Continuous Basic Education Reform Framework by the previous government. While the inaugural assessment for grade 9 students was originally scheduled for 2020, disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic delayed the first live administration of the examinations until 2021. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my ministry is currently finalizing a comprehensive blueprint for the Mauritian education sector, which proposes, among other structural reforms, the abolition of the NC examinations at the end of grade 9. I wish to inform the House the blueprint has almost reached the final stage of its preparation. Following legal vetting by the Attorney General's office and review by an interministerial committee, the blueprint will be submitted to Cabinet for consideration. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to assure the House that this government does not believe in throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Where a system is pedagogically flawed, it is our responsibility to rectify it, not merely patch it. In its current form, the curriculum of the NC is partially flawed because it does not adequately prepare our students to meet the exigencies of school certificate examinations. Consequently, we are reviewing both the lower secondary curriculum and its assessment framework. In collaboration with Cambridge International, we are developing a new curriculum and assessment framework that prioritizes holistic student development over rigid, high-stakes testing. Let me inform the House that the NC was initially designed to assess both mainstream and extended program students. Numerous stakeholders openly showed their disapproval regarding the practice of asking the former extended stream students to take the NC examinations. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, unfortunately, between 2022 and 2025, nearly 7,000 extended program students who sat for the NCE examination failed miserably, and 7,000 extended program students were left entirely without certification. This is unacceptable systemic failure which could not be condoned. That is why this government came with a foundation program as an alternate pathway for children who need a special curriculum and assessment framework based on their competencies. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, during the extensive stakeholder consultations held for the preparation of the blueprint, educators, parents, and psychologists highlighted several critical flaws inherent in the NC system. For example, 1, the current system induces severe stress. Learners are driven into an intense cycle of private tuition spanning from grade 7 to grade 9, and in reality, extending continuously from grades 5 through to the higher school certificate, causing learner burnout and considerable harm to the well-being of our children. Second, the NC curriculum is inherently flawed that it is not designed to prepare our grade 7 to grade 9 students to actually prepare for the exigencies of the school certificate examinations. 3, the migration of thousands of students from regional colleges to academies after the NC examinations, which severely disrupts schools' continuity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, education cannot be reduced to a conveyor belt of examinations that alienates and penalizes the majority of our children. The alternative pathways being engineered in our upcoming blueprint will ensure that every child, regardless of the academic stream, is provided with a humane, equitable, and certified pathway toward secondary and technical education. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Yes, I thank the Honourable Minister for his answer. But can the Honourable Minister give at least some indication, because there is a legitimate expectation in the public for teachers and pupils, they have stressed as well, when the system will change?
Thank you, Honourable Member, for this question. And through this question, let me assure, with your permission, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, everyone, that due attention will be given for the phasing out so that the new system which will come, it will, one, respect the legal framework so that enough time will be given for students who are, for example, students who are already in grade 8, okay, they will take the NC. The phase out will not come out abruptly in order to we ensure students and everyone that nobody will be harmed and they will be given sufficient time in order to prepare for the change that will take place.
Yes, you have a question?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Will the Honourable Minister inform the House whether the NC examination is used to eliminate students from being promoted to grade 10 so that the percentage of pass rate in the SC exam could be maintained at a high level?
Thank you, Honourable Member, for this question. In fact, I would wish to inform the House in general. This is what was happening when we came with the criteria of 5 credit. With the criteria of 5 credit, what was happening? The idea was to eliminate the students with 3 and 4 credits so that the HSC result could be good, the percentage could be lofty. Okay, similarly, I presume perhaps now with hindsight, perhaps that was the intention. With the NC examination, in the NC examination, what was happening? Around, from memory I'm saying, around 30% of students used to fail the NC examination. So already, 1 out of 3 students used to be eliminated at the Form 3, that is the NC level itself, so that we could buttress the SC result. Our government is of a different approach. We believe in giving our kids the maximum opportunity. And coming from the sector, when a student sits for the Form 3 exam, the grade 9 examination, it is better left to the rector and the members of staff to decide whether the child can be promoted in grade 10 or not. And very often it is at this point they opt for the stream, whether they will do science, technical, art side, or economic side, at this level. But this examination and CE examination was not doing justice to the potential of our kids. Thank you.
The Honourable First Member for La Caveat Phoenix.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. B821, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, honourable members will recall that 2 employees of ENS Africa Mauritius were suspended for failing to remove their headscarf. They were subsequently dismissed. The Employment Relation Tribunal found that the dismissal was unjustified, but did not order their reinstatement because, according to the tribunal, the relationship between the employees and the employer had irretrievably broken down. The 2 employees filed complaints with the Equal Opportunities Commission, alleging that they had been subjected to discrimination by ENS Africa Mauritius via its préposé based on their creed. In its report dated 8th of May 2026, the Equal Opportunity Commission concluded, amongst others, that, first, no condition, requirement, or practice existed within ENS Mauritius relating to secularity that was ever binding on the 2 employees. ENS Mauritius did not address the accusation of the 2 employees that the employers allegedly used derogatory language to refer to the employees' hijab. And 3, the facts suggest that the 2 employees were subject to discrimination by ENS Africa Mauritius. The Equal Opportunity Commission also emphasized that even where an express policy exists regimenting employees' dress code, any such policy must pass a test of constitutionality under Section 11 and 16 of the Constitution. And they should also meet the threshold set under the Equal Opportunities Act, which prohibits discrimination based on creed. Pursuant to Section 33, subsection 2 of the Equal Opportunities Act, the Equal Opportunities Commission provided the parties a statutory period of 45 days from the days of submission of its report to inform the Equal Opportunities Commission whether the complaints have been resolved. Where the complaints remain unresolved, the Equal Opportunities Commission shall, with the consent of the complainants, refer the complainants to the Equal Opportunities Tribunal. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, following the decision of the Equal Opportunities Commission on the 10th of May 2026, ENS Africa Mauritius, issued a press communiqué informing inter alia that the termination of employment of the employees was not motivated by discriminatory practices and that its employees could attend work in a dress code which conforms to their registered practice. It also stated that in accordance with the EOC's guidelines in its report, the conciliation process will restart with a view to achieve a satisfactory solution for all parties. This communiqué, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is contrary to the reply I made to parliamentary question B794 and B810 at our sitting of 29 July 2025. The House was informed that on 26 June 2025, the representative of ENS Africa Mauritius was convened to my ministry, and he informed that there was a dress code which had been well established in the past 30 years and that all employees of ENS Africa Mauritius had to officially adhere to same. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in July 2025 and November 2025, my ministry submitted proposal to the Attorney General's Office for amendments to Section 5 of the Workers' Rights Act to prevent discrimination based on religious appearance or dress, which is required by or symbolic of a person's religion or religious belief. The proposed amendment will also require an employer to make such adjustment to the condition or practice as may be reasonable and necessary to accommodate a worker's religious appearance or dress, unless the employer can demonstrate that making such adjustment would impose unjustifiable hardship. On the 25th of May 2026, yesterday, the Solicitor General Office sent a reply to my office opining that, and I quote, "The existing legal framework appeared to be sufficient to cover dress code issues, provided they are interpreted and applied correctly by our court and tribunal. As we only received that opinion yesterday, the matter is still under consideration." As far as ENS Africa Mauritius is concerned, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, should ENS Africa Mauritius fail to reach an amicable settlement with the two employees within the 45 days given to them by the Equal Opportunities Commission, I will ask the Honourable Attorney General to consider revoking the license of ENS Africa Mauritius under the Law Practitioners Act on the ground of public interest, because, in my opinion, a law firm which engages in discriminatory practices should not be allowed to practice in Mauritius.
Yes, Honourable Lubin.
Yes, thank you, Honourable Minister, for this reply. In the meantime, will the Honourable Minister consider issuing a guideline or a notice to all employers that they should make it mandatory at their workplace to have written non-discrimination and dress code policies that are in line with our Constitution, written guidelines?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'll give the instruction to my officers to liaise with the different employers' organizations to make sure that they have this non-discrimination policy in written form, which is circulated to all employees.
Your next question, Honourable. First member for La Caverne.
Sorry, I said, Your Honour. I'm not in court in Parliament, sorry.
Well, I am not in court either.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Deputy Speaker, B823, please.
Mr. Labour.
823. 823. Okay, I thought it was 822. 823. Sorry. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm informed that on the 31st of October 2020, 13 employees are employed under different entities falling under the State Investment Corporation Management Services Company Limited were suspended with pay. These entities are Sun Casino Limited, Beach Casino Limited, Le Grand Casino de Domaine Limited, and Casino de Maurice Limited. The Administrative and Human Resource Department is based at Casino de Maurice Limited, located in Curpip. According to records available at my ministry, the employees were suspended following a serious incident at Le Grand Casino du Domaine Limited, which occurred on the night shift of Sunday, 25th of October 2020 to Monday, 26th October 2020, whilst they were on duty. The incident involved, but was not limited to the following: heavy betting by punters with chips, 5,000 value chips up to 80,000 rupees, bet on one even chance, bet of up to 240,000 rupees by punters per spin, and heavy payment made to punters in excess of 1 million rupees. Management considered that the employees may have committed acts of gross misconduct and informed them that an investigation was being carried out in that respect. The employees were thus suspended with pay with immediate effect. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that further to investigation carried out by the Administrative and Human Resource Department of the Group, the employees were issued with their respective letters detailing the particulars of charges against them and requesting them to appear individually before disciplinary committees. The hearing of the disciplinary committees were held on different dates in 2021. I'm further informed that upon completion of these disciplinary hearings, 5 employees were individually issued with a severe warning as their acts and doing and omission at all material time were considered as serious and contrary to their work condition. However, the remaining 8 workers had their employment terminated on the ground of gross misconduct. So, Deputy Speaker, sir, 6 out of those 8 employees whose employment were terminated solicited the conciliation services of my ministry to claim their reinstatement. Despite 7 conciliation meetings held at the level of the Conciliation and Mediation section of my ministry, the employer, State Investment Corporation Management Services Company Limited, refused to reinstate them on the ground that the employees had been found guilty of gross misconduct. As the conciliation was unsuccessful, all 8 employees registered their complaint for termination of employment at my ministry against their respective casino employers. My ministry then conducted an inquiry into the complaint and tried to resolve the matter amicably. However, no settlement was reached. The worker was subsequently admitted to the workfare program, and between August and October 2023, my ministry lodged cases before the industrial court to claim termination dues on behalf of the 8 employees whose employment had been terminated. Subsequently, the employees decided to retain the services of their own attorney and counsel to pursue the matter further at the industrial court. Accordingly, because they had retained services of counsel and attorney, my ministry had to withdraw from all 8 cases in April and May 2024.
Okay. The Honourable Second Member for Vieux-Grandport, Rosebell.
The question has been withdrawn, this one.
Has been withdrawn?
Yes.
Thank you. The Honourable Third Member for Bobassa-Betchikrivière, Honourable Kira.
B8 to 5, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, yes, question A, whether an inquiry has been conducted by the Financial Crime Commission. Yes, an inquiry is being conducted by the Financial Crime Commission on this matter. However, I have been informed by the Financial Crime Commission that as this question relates to the inquiry being conducted by the latter, no information relating to any investigation can be divulged by virtue of Section 161 of the Finance Crimes Commission Act 2023, and that the exception provided under the law would not apply to parliamentary questions. Furthermore, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm also advised that under Section 1313 of the Financial Crimes Commission Act 2023, even the parliamentary committee set up under Section 1291 of the said Act is precluded from seeking information regarding any investigation. As such, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm not in a position to reply to this question.
Monsieur le vice-président, il est bon de savoir que la FCC a référé toute la question, tout le cas au ministère des Sports, quoi qu'en dise l'honorable ministre. De ce fait, peut-on savoir justement ce que compte faire le ministère des Sports, vu que les procédures de transfert n'ont pas été respectées, Monsieur le vice-président? Premièrement, concernant le paiement. Oui, mais c'est la question. Que compte faire le ministère des Sports, vu que les procédures de transfert n'ont pas été respectées? Premièrement, concernant le paiement fait par chèque et tiré au nom d'un dirigeant de Pamplemousse SC au lieu du club lui-même. Et deuxièmement, en évitant de suivre les règlements de la FIFA, tout en ignorant les formalités de transfert à travers le Transfer Matching System.
If this is the subject of the FCC inquiry, I won't allow you to proceed any further because the FCC inquiry, and nobody is allowed to ask any question about the inquiry.
Monsieur le vice-président.
If what you are saying is the subject of the inquiry at the FCC, so I won't allow any question on this incident.
Cela concerne la MFA, cela concerne un transfert. Je viens de vous dire que la FCC a référé toute la question au ministère des Sports, ce que je viens de dire.
How do you know that? Well, we don't have any evidence here. We don't have, unless you have any, there's no evidence.
Documents, Monsieur le Vice-président. N'essayons pas de camoufler toute l'affaire. N'essayons pas de camoufler. J'ai des documents ici.
Are you saying that I'm trying?
Permettez-moi.
Are you saying that I am trying to camouflage?
J'ai des documents en ma possession que le dénonciateur, M. GM, a adressés à la FIFA et à la MFA. Ce sont des documents véridiques que je vais déposer, Monsieur le Vice-président, à votre attention, et à l'intention de l'honorable ministre aussi, peut-être qu'il n'est pas au courant de toute l'affaire. Donc, ce que je suis en train de dire, est-ce que l'honorable ministre, à travers son ministère, ils ont l'intention d'ouvrir une enquête et de demander à la MFA de donner toutes les informations concernant ce transfert frauduleux qui a été effectué?
I'm clear on that issue, Deputy Speaker. The matter is clear. Everything has been referred to the FCC, and I've got the letter from the FCC to say that this question cannot be replied in Parliament.
Okay, next question.
Je dépose les documents, Monsieur le Vice-président.
The third member for Kochemitiamoka. Honorable third member for Kochemitiamoka.
B8 to 6, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I am informed that following completion of housing projects by the NHDC, it has been the practice for my ministry to vest part of the housing estate, that is plots of land over which stand the social facilities and green spaces in the Ministry of Local Government for maintenance. As the NHDC does not have sufficient financial and human resources. However, in the year 2021, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Local Government informed my ministry that maintenance of green spaces and amenities within the NHDC housing estates does not fall within under the purview of the local authorities as per the Local Government Act, and requested my ministry to make its own arrangements for such services. At one point in time, there was also the issue of the Local Government Act having to be amended that would have permitted the local authorities to take care and maintain those specific spaces. But as at yet, ever since 2021, nothing has been done. In a spirit of collaboration, some local authorities have, despite their limited means, been maintaining the green areas and other amenities over a number of housing estates. I'm given to understand that my ministry has had several meetings with the Ministry of Local Government and that of Finance to come up with a policy for the maintenance of green spaces and social amenities on NHDC housing estates. I wish to seize this opportunity, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, to inform the House that maintenance of green spaces and amenities with respect to the NSLD residential units project will also have to be looked into. I am informed that during the last meeting held at the Ministry of Finance on the 16th of September 2025, the Ministry of Local Government was agreeable to take over the green spaces, and I thank the Honourable Minister of Local Government for that, and other common amenities subject to amendments to the Local Government Act, as I said earlier. And obviously, I cannot be difficult on him and his ministry, subject to availability of funds. Residence Lavande housing project in Dagotier comprises 656 housing units on a ground plus one configuration. A football ground, a children's playground, a jogging track, a community center, a commercial outlet, and 32 green spaces. In regard to Part A, the plots of land over which stand the green spaces and amenities have not yet been vested with the Ministry of Local Government. Conversely, the District Council of Mocha has in April 2023 taken over the operation and maintenance of the community center. As regards Parts B, the NHDC is, despite the lack of resources, undertaking maintenance of the green spaces and amenities thereat on an ad hoc basis. Let me give details with regards to that, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, because I think it's important not only for the Honourable Member, but most importantly, the residents there and the constituents. The issue is as follows. The NHDC in-house team is presently carrying out the cleaning of green and common spaces at Résidence Lavande d'Agotière. Cleaning work started on the 6th of May of 2026 and are expected to be completed by the 5th of June 2026, subject to weather permitting. As at the 21st of May 2026, 50% of the cleaning works at the children's playground has been completed. The NHDC does not have the resources to ensure regular maintenance, and as I said, it's on an ad hoc basis. To conclude, I'd like to add also the following, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. Not only is this a problem only with regards to that particular residence, but it is quite generalized. So what we have come up at the level of my ministry is as follows. We have come up with a new scheme altogether, whereby the NHDC, myself and the officers of the NHDC, we will be visiting every single NHDC and NSLD residence in Mauritius, old and new. We will be proposing our services in-house. Government, at one point in time, the Labour government started by giving 200 rupees per household of NHDC residence, per family. It is contributed. But we are in the process of finalizing a management plan whereby we will be able to take over the cleaning and management with the 200 rupees per household. But we will obviously, if we have to give better services, we are going to give satisfaction to all those who live in those residences. We will be expecting the inhabitants there to also contribute. So with better services and better quality of service comes also the responsibility on the part of the residents. So we will both act responsibly, NHDC staff as well as the residents of all those NHDC estates. It will be up to them to decide whether they are agreeable to us stepping in to take over those services, because it is for the residents to decide. We'll be giving them the opportunity, we will be presenting them what exactly we're offering as services, and we will be showing them how much it will be costing, and there will be a total transparency in the management of the finances for that new project, which I have been spearheading ever since last year.
Yes.
Do you have a timeline for this project to be realized?
The timeline for the project to be realized is we will be starting with constituency number 19 first. We will be starting, it's not because of you, but what I'm saying is we have to start with constituency number 19 first because there are serious problems there. There are such urgent problems there that deserve our immediate attention. It's not in any way minimizing the problems elsewhere. But what I'm saying is that I want to take it upon myself to meet with the members of each constituency where I will expect and I hope that you will all be helpful to organize meetings with all residents at one place where we show them exactly what we want to do. And now the timeline is very simple. We're going to start by next week, at the most the week after, with constituency number 19. We'll be moving then to constituency number 3. Forgive me, I just wanted to do so in my constituency. I'm sure you'll understand. And then we will be moving to other constituencies on a weekly basis. So it's going to be constant progress, work in progress, but it's going to be change.
Everyone will ask when we'll come to their constituency now. So, okay. Next. Honorable Kira, the document you have produced has not been admitted yet. They are mere communication. They are printout of computer communication between, we'll have to study it and see whether we can admit it or not. For the time being, it's not admitted. The next question, Honorable Kazian, third member for Port Ethos and Motailong.
B827, thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in reply to part A of the question, I'm informed that since January 2021 to date, my ministry has received 1,258,913 doses of COVID-19 vaccines as donation from friendly countries, namely People's Republic of China, India, France, United Arab Emirates, Republic of South Africa, United Kingdom, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as follows. 100,000 doses of Covishield from India, 100,000 doses of Sinopharm from People's Republic of China, 5,000 doses of Ayat Sinopharm from UAE, 50,400 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine from Republic of South Africa, 1,170 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine from France, 151,200 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine from MasterCard Foundation and Saving Lives and Livelihoods Initiative in partnership with Africa CDC, 387,270 doses of Pfizer from United States, 200,760 doses of Moderna from France, 211,200 doses of pediatric Pfizer from UK, 51,840 doses of bivalent Pfizer from United States through COVAX facility, 20 doses of Pfizer vaccine in 2025 for Hajj pilgrims, and 53 doses of Pfizer vaccine from United Kingdom of Saudi Arabia this year for Hajj pilgrims. Madam Deputy Speaker, sir, regarding Part B and B1 of the question, I'm informed that some 2,708,940 doses of COVID-19 vaccines were purchased and delivered for COVID-19 vaccination campaign in 2021 as follows. 100,000 doses of Covishield from Serum Institute of India for a total amount of 21,149,472 rupees. 200,000 doses of Covaxin from Bharat Technologies. The cost thereof was around 139,650,763 rupees, and 100,800 doses of AstraZeneca from COVAX facility for the total cost of 17.17 million, including bank guarantee and other expenses. 1,500,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine for total sum of 825 million rupees. 120,000 doses of Sputniks procured at the cost of 49,646,379 rupees. 288,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been delivered in 2 installments. Total cost incurred was 116,494,720, and 400,140 doses of Pfizer had been delivered for total cost of 264 million rupees. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in regard to part B of the question, out of 2,708,940 doses of COVID vaccines purchased and delivered. A total of 162,816 doses of vaccines have expired. The House may wish to note that a total of 987 million in respect of Johnson & Johnson's Pfizer and Sputnik vaccines was outstanding when I assumed office as Minister of Health and Wellness in 2024. Some 691,200 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which had never been delivered, but for which a contract agreement had been signed by the previous government, were expired and disposed of by Johnson & Johnson Vaccine Pharmaceuticals. Several negotiations have been carried out with African Vaccine Acquisition Trust and Afremix Bank to cancel the remaining doses. However, the negotiations were not fruitful and my ministry is bound to pay the outstanding claims. As such, part of payment to the tune of 170 million of the undelivered doses have been made during this financial year. An amount of 25 million is still outstanding in respect of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and same will be settled shortly. Similarly, we would have to pay an amount of 277 million rupees for 599,040 undelivered doses of Pfizer in line with the contract agreement signed by the previous government. As a result, provisions are being made in the forthcoming budget to settle the outstanding claim. In case of an emergency, Pfizer will not provide any vaccine to us as no payment was effected by the previous government for the remaining doses.
Yes, you have got one question?
Honorable Minister.
One last question. Time
Yes,
is over.
with regards to those undelivered doses for which the ministry had to pay, is the minister going to launch whatever inquiry will have to be investigated so that to bring all those who are at fault for these amount the minister had paid already?
Well, this matter will be looked by the Attorney General's office, but I have to inform the House that our government has disbursed over 1 billion rupees as far as these medications are concerned, vaccinations are concerned.
Okay. Time is over. Honorable members, the table has been advised that the following PQs have been withdrawn. B833, 851, 858, 843, 834, 842, 853, 839, 831, 848, 847, 837, 828, 829, 841, 857, 830, 844. Time is over.
Motion.
Yes.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I move that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10.
Seconded. Yes, seconded. The question is that all the business on today's order paper be exempted from the provisions of paragraph 2 of Standing Order 10. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Statements by ministers.
I call the Honourable Minister of Environment, Solid Waste, Management and Climate Change.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I wish your permission to make a statement. Following the adoption by the United Nations General Assembly of the resolution welcoming the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice on the obligations of states in respect of climate change. On 25th July 2025, I made a statement in the House following the advisory opinion given by the International Court of Justice on the obligations of states in respect of climate change to clarify the legal obligations of states in addressing global warming and climate change. The House will recall that the request for an advisory opinion was led by Vanuatu Island State following lengthy representations made by Pacific Islands law students. On 23rd July 2025, the International Court of Justice delivered the landmark advisory opinion, clarifying that protecting the climate is not an optional diplomacy and political option, but is a legal duty grounded in treaties, customary law, and human rights. Thus, states which fail to fulfill their obligations risk legal responsibility and claims for repair. The advisory opinion was also supported the science-based temperature rise target of 1.5 degrees centigrade as the agreed primary temperature goal under the Paris Agreement. To affirm the findings of the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, Vanuatu, on behalf of other supporting states, including Mauritius, introduced a resolution to the UN General Assembly for adoption on Wednesday, 20th May 2026. The resolution had a resounding success with 141 votes in favor, only 8 against and 28 abstentions. The UN General Assembly adopted the resolution whereby it first welcomed the opinion and stressing on the fact that climate change is an unprecedented challenge, calls on states to act consistently with their obligations under international law and the Paris Agreement, including implementation of measures to transitioning away from fossil fuels and energy systems, and highlights that the UN General Assembly is determined to translate the advisory opinion into enhanced multilateral cooperation and accelerated climate action at all levels consistent with international law. Mr. Deputy Speaker, accordingly, the resolution establishes a follow-up mechanism to a report of the UN Secretary General on progress in 2027, while ensuring continued consideration by the General Assembly with a formal follow-up item on the agenda of the UN General Assembly in 2028. This resolution is a powerful message for vulnerable nations such as small island developing states which bear the brunt of climate change, although they are the least responsible for global warming. It is an affirmation that climate justice should not be in vain words, as states have now a recognized legal obligation to protect their people and future generations without distinction and discrimination. Moreover, it has given renewed trust in the multilateral system as member states are preparing for the climate COP31 this year, conceptualized as a COP of implementation. The resolution will significantly guide negotiations on key agenda items, including climate finance, loss, damage, just transitions, among others. Mauritius, as a member of the Alliance of Small States, the African group of negotiators, as well as the G77 and China, will be guided by this resolution in the preparation of its national position for the forthcoming COP31. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank you for your attention.
Yes. The Honourable Minister of Health and Wellness.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I wish to make a statement on my ministry's preparedness plan for Ebola. In view of the fact that on 16th of May 2026, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak of Ebola in Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda as a public health emergency of international concern, I wish to reassure the House and the population of my ministry preparedness to deal with this serious health threat. I wish to report that I have had a fruitful personal meeting with Dr. Pedros, Director General of WHO, during my participation in the 79th World Health Assembly held in Geneva from 18th to 23rd of May 2026. In addition, members of my delegation and myself participated in several daily briefings held by the Director General personally and the WHO Regional Director of African Region, Professor Janabi, on the situation of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. Both the Director General and the Regional Director stressed the need for preparedness, solidarity among nations, and dissemination of accurate and updated information, particularly with respect to any suspected case of Ebola. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, Ebola is a severe, very often fatal disease in humans. It is caused by viruses including Ebola virus, Sudan virus, and the Bundibugyo virus. The average case fatality rate is around 50%, although in past outbreaks it varied from 25 to 90%, depending on the virus species, the context, and the quality and timeliness of supportive care. Ebola is transmitted to humans through close contact with the blood, secretions, organs, or other bodily fluids of infected animals such as chimpanzees, gorilla, fruit bats, monkeys, forest antelope, and porcupines found ill or dead, especially in the rainforest. once introduced into human population, is spread from person to person through direct contact, through broken skin or mucous membranes, with blood or body fluids of infected persons, or indirectly through contaminated materials such as bedding, clothing, or needles, or as a result of unsafe burial practices. The incubation period is usually between 2 to 21 days. A person is generally not infectious before the onset of symptoms. The clinical features include sudden fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat. This may be followed by vomiting, diarrhea, rash, impaired kidney and liver functions, and in some cases, internal and external bleeding. Diagnosis requires laboratory confirmation. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to the current situation, the outbreak concerns Bundibugyo virus disease, the most virulent form of Ebola disease. There is currently no vaccine against the disease. The information available indicates that as 18th May 2026, the Democratic Republic of Congo had reported 516 suspected cases and 131 suspected deaths, as well as 33 confirmed cases and 4 confirmed deaths. Uganda has reported 2 confirmed imported cases, including 1 death. Overall, this represents 35 confirmed cases and 5 confirmed deaths. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, a public health emergency of international concern is defined under the International Health Regulation as an extraordinary event which constitutes a public health risk to other states through the international spread of disease and which may require coordinated international response. My ministry has updated and activated its national preparedness plan for Ebola virus disease, May 2026, of which I am tabling a copy. The plan covers the Republic of Mauritius, including Rodrigue and the Outer Island, and is structured around preparedness, mitigation, and recovery. It provides for response planning and coordination, control at ports of entry, surveillance of incoming passengers from affected countries, hospital preparedness, laboratory preparedness, passenger monitoring, contact tracing, risk communication, and recovery activities. With regard to response planning and coordination, my ministry has moved to strengthen coordination, surveillance, and operational readiness. With regard to control at ports of entry, surveillance of incoming passengers from affected countries, at our point of entry, namely the airport and the seaport, procedures for health profiling of income passengers have been reinforced. At the airport, these include verification of flight declaration forms, thermal screening, scrutiny of passport and health declaration forms, and assessment of possible exposure in affected countries. At the port, ships are boarded by the public health and food safety inspectors. Maritime declarations are verified. Health declaration forms are collected before immigration procedures. Passengers from high-risk countries are being followed up by the relevant regional health officers with initial contact within 24 hours, daily telephone contact between visits, and further monitoring over the follow-up period. The plan also provides clear protocol for suspected cases detected on board an aircraft or ship. With regard to hospital preparedness, any suspected case would be separated, assessed by a medical team wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, and transferred through a dedicated pathway to our isolation facility at Suivez Hospital with dedicated isolation based on separate quarantine bay contacts to be identified, assessed, and followed up. In the case of a ship with 1 or more suspected cases, the vessel will be directed to an isolated cave with transfer of suspected cases to the Suivez Hospital and assessment of close contact. Similarly, should there be any suspected cases from private sector, the case will be transferred according to an established protocol to Suivez Hospital. Allow me, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, to remind the House that it was under the Labour government that around 2013 to 2014, following an outbreak of Ebola in West Africa, that was for the first time an isolation facility was set up at Suivez Hospital. This facility was validated by WHO for isolation of Ebola cases, but can also be used for isolation of other infectious diseases. Staffing arrangement, buffer stock of personal protective equipment, stockpiling of essential medicines, intravenous fluids, blood products, medical equipment, and consumables, and training of staff in case of recognition, isolation procedures, infection prevention and control, personal protective equipment, use laboratory procedures, waste management, and burial procedures have been looked into and addressed. My ministry has also initiated actions to ensure that the relevant protocols are available and operational. This includes isolation, infection prevention control, laboratory testing, clinical management, linen and laundry services, management of clinical waste, handling of dead bodies, environmental cleaning, disinfection of transport vehicles, and guidance for aircraft cabin crew. With regard to laboratory preparedness, Laboratory testing protocols have been elaborated, recognizing high biohazard risk posed by specimens from suspected cases, hence requiring safe handling, strict infection prevention and control, and appropriate sample transport procedures. With regard to contact tracing, contacts are being identified through interviews, hospital records, and other reliable sources. Follow-up is to be conducted for 21 days following exposure with quarantine measures applied according to level of risk. From 17th May 2026 to 24th May 2026, a total of 30 passengers arriving from the Democratic Republic of Congo and 45 passengers arriving from Uganda are under active 21-day public health surveillance. To date, follow-up has been uneventful. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with regard to risk communication, Ebola outbreaks are not managed only with ambulances and hospital beds, but also with accurate information, public trust, and rapid correction of rumors regarding the alleged exposure of Mauritian nationals abroad to a patient with Ebola. Yesterday, my ministry promptly informed the population that there had been up to date no known case of any Mauritian national locally or abroad who had been exposed to any patient. I make an appeal to the public and health professionals to immediately inform my ministry of any suspected case of Ebola, for us to firstly to confirm the veracity of the information and to take actions accordingly. As a responsible citizen, a responsible citizen does not trust to the press to create sensation, spread alarm, or provoke panic among people. The irresponsible and unethical spreading of rumor regarding alleged Ebola cases is not only reckless, it is unpatriotic. It risks creating unnecessary fear, damaging public confidence, harming our tourism industry, and affecting the economy of our country. Our ministry will provide press releases, targeted radio and television programs, counseling of travelers, distribution of fact sheets to public and private doctors, information materials for airport and port staff, hotlines, regular situation reports, and community engagement. The key message is this: Mauritius has a national updated preparedness plan, actions initiated, and my ministry strengthening operational readiness in line with WHO guidance and our obligations under international health regulation. Our objective is clear: early detection, rapid isolation, safe management, effective contact tracing, protection of health workers, and prevention of any local transmission, and putting a rapid halt to irresponsible spreading of rumors. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to say with the House and the public that the risk of Ebola spreading widely in Mauritius remains extremely low or non-existent. Unlike COVID-19, Ebola is not primarily airborne, and unlike chikungunya or dengue, it is not spread by mosquitoes. It is transmitted mainly through direct contact with body fluids of an infected person. Let me reassure the House and the population at large. My ministry is supported by experienced professionals who have already helped the country to successfully manage H1N1, chikungunya, dengue, and the first outbreak of COVID-19 in the past. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in matters of public health, credibility matters, experience matters, integrity matters. We will continue to act calmly, firmly, and responsibly to protect the population. I thank you.
The Honourable Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations.
Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I wish to make a statement in connection with the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice delivered on the 21st of May 2026 on the issue of whether the right to strike of workers and their organizations is protected under the Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize Convention 1948, Convention number 87. 18 member states of the International Labour Organization, including Mauritius, 5 international organizations, namely ILO, the International Trade Union Confederation, the International Organization of Employers, the International Cooperative Alliance, and Business Africa, made oral statement during the advisory proceedings. In my oral statement before the International Court of Justice, I spoke about the evolution of the right to strike and freedom of association in Mauritius, and reaffirmed Mauritius' stand that the right to strike was protected under the convention, but it was a qualified right. So, Deputy Speaker, sir, following our participation in the advisory proceedings, Mauritius was commended by the African Regional Organization of the International Trade Union Confederation, which represents over 18 million workers from over 52 African countries. In a correspondence dated 20th of October last year, the General Secretary, ITUC Africa, congratulated Mauritius for the country's, and I quote, courageous and principled stand before the ICJ, where clear and compelling arguments were made in defense of the right to strike as an integral component of freedom of association under ILO Convention 87. The ITUC Africa described this government's position as, and I quote, unambiguous, principled, and anchored in deep understanding of democracy and justice, end of quote. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, in its advisory opinion on the right to strike under the ILO Convention 87, the International Court of Justice, by 10 votes to 4, was of the opinion that the right to strike of workers and their organization was protected under the Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize Convention of 1948. This advisory opinion is of particular significance to Mauritius. Section 13 of our Constitution guarantees freedom of assembly and of association. To a large extent, Section 13 of our Constitution is similar to Convention 87, as both protect the rights of persons to form or belong to trade unions for the protection of their interests. Just like Convention 987, Section 13 of our Constitution does not expressly provide for a right to strike. But in the light of the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice, it can be safely inferred that the right to strike in Mauritius is protected under Section 13 of our Constitution. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this ruling represents an important milestone for trade unions and workers across the world, including Mauritius, who have historically fought for the recognition and protection of workers' collective rights, including right to strike for the protection of their interests. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister of Commerce and Consumer Protection.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with your permission, I would like to make a statement on VAT collection on petroleum products. Since the onset of the conflict in the Middle East in March 2026, compounded with the disruption of shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz, we have witnessed significant volatility and sustained increases in global crude oil and refined petroleum prices, particularly for mogas and gas oil. Reports from the World Bank, Reuters, and the U.S. Energy Information Administration have confirmed that the ongoing conflict has not only caused one of the largest oil supply shocks in recent decades, but also warned that oil markets are likely to remain under pressure for an extended period of time in the foreseeable future. As a fully import-dependent economy for petroleum products, Mauritius has inevitably been affected by these international market developments. Nevertheless, this government has consciously refrained from passing on the full extent of the increase in international oil prices to consumers. This policy decision has been taken in order to cushion households, protect purchasing power, contain inflationary pressures, and safeguard economic activities across the country. Had the full increase in procurement costs been transferred directly to pump prices, consumers and businesses alike would have faced significantly higher transportation and living costs. For instance, the calculated prices of mogas and gas oil have, as at 25th of May 2026, increased by 22.87% and 11.09% respectively. Accordingly, the retail prices of mogas should have been 78 rupees and 95 cents per litre, while that of gas oil should have been 79 rupees and 50 cents per litre. Government, however, did not pass on these increases, with the consequence that within the 3-month period since the outbreak of this crisis, the deficit of the price stabilization account has increased by more than 2 billion rupees reaching a deficit of 3.53 billion rupees today, compared to a deficit of 1.5 billion rupees on 28th of February 2026. In this context, it is important to underline that revenues collected through VAT on the sales of mogas and gas oil contribute directly to the financing of extensive social and welfare measures provided by the state in Mauritius. Unlike many developing countries, Mauritius maintains a broad welfare system which ensures universal or highly subsidized access to essential public services and social protection mechanisms such as free healthcare, free education from primary up to tertiary level, universal pensions for senior citizens, social aid schemes for vulnerable households, subsidized public transport for students and elderly persons, and numerous support mechanisms aimed at protecting lower and middle-income families. When compared to several African countries, Mauritius offers considerably broader and more universal welfare framework. In South Africa, while social grants and pensions are extensive, healthcare and education systems remain uneven and highly dependent on income level. In Kenya and Ghana, access to healthcare and social protection is comparatively more limited, with a larger reliance on contributory insurance schemes and private expenditure. Namibia provides certain pension and social assistance programs, but its welfare coverage remains narrower in scope than that of Mauritius. Importantly, despite these countries capping their VAT collections on petroleum products, most of them have nonetheless increased their retail prices for these products as per the global prices, which Mauritius has not done. The prices of both mogas and gas oil in Kenya, Namibia, and South Africa are higher than the prices in Mauritius. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the Mauritian social model therefore requires substantial and sustained public financing. Taxes and VAT revenues collected across the economy, including on petroleum products, constitute an essential source of funding which enables government to maintain free and subsidized services for the benefit of the population as a whole. Consequently, the VAT collected on mogas and gas oil should not be viewed solely as a fiscal measure, but also as a contribution towards preserving the country's social safety net, supporting vulnerable groups, and maintaining the quality of life and social stability enjoyed in Mauritius. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Sir.
Thank you. Honourable members, I have perused the documents Honourable Third Member for Beaubassin and Petite Rivière wished to table in relation to PQ B825. These documents are exchange of emails between two persons referring to certain third person and making mention of materials which, if made public, may prejudice the ongoing inquiry before the FCC. I am therefore not allowing the tabling of the said document, and the document will be returned to the Honourable Member. I suspend the sitting for half an hour.